In the studio with me is Mustafa Caner, Assistant Professor of Iranian Studies at Sakarya University's Middle East Institute. Great to have you back in the studio, Mustafa. Let's first of all talk about this diplomacy. Is Donald Trump right that Europe is completely irrelevant here?
I think this is one of the few things that Donald Trump is right, because Europe has no independent Iranian policy, but just to sit on US tails. European powers are willing to talk to Iran, but Iranian side is not willing to talk to Europeans that much, because Iran knows that Europe has no power to change the course of war. So these talks are not essential talks to determine the fate of the war, but complementary talks, maybe indirectly to communicate with the United States for Iran. These talks matter. But apart from that, I don't think that these negotiations or talks with the European powers will have major effect for Iran.
The issue becomes very much like George W. Bush's invasion of Iraq, based on intelligence. And what we're seeing in the United States is Donald Trump maybe being the bully that he can be. What he's persuaded Tulsi Gabbard, his own director of national intelligence, to do is to go back on her own intelligence observations about the nuclear weapon. One thing that possibly we need explaining. To get to weapons-grade uranium is one thing, but what about the progress from weapons-grade uranium to making a nuclear warhead?
Great question. I think these are two separate and different things, separate process, and these two processes need separate techniques and technology. This is actually this was actually said by Rafael Grossi also. Having the nuclear enrichment capability is one thing, but building a nuclear bomb is another thing. There is a big difference between them. And you need to have a different technology, but above all, first, you need to have an intention to build a nuclear bomb. So when we look at statements from Iranian side, they are saying clearly that they have no intention to build a nuclear bomb. And Tulsi Gabbard, as you said, she said that, no, we don't see any evidence. Actually, it's her former statement was like that. And then she changed her statement because of the pressure coming from Donald Trump. And also, International Atomic Energy Agency said that we don't see any proof that Iran was engaging in systematic program to, obtain a nuclear weapon. So, agency said that, intelligence in the United States said that, Iranian side said that, but only parties that are claiming that Iran will have a nuclear bomb is some politicians in the United States, Donald Trump, and his European partners, and the Israeli side. But no one is speaking about the actual nuclear power in the region, which is a state that has actual nuclear, bombs. No one is talking about Israel. Where are the UN inspections? Where are the UN inspectors? Why Israel doesn't open its nuclear facilities to inspection? So why they have undocumented, undeclared nuclear facilities? We know that Israel is the most aggressive country in the region. That's just the type of state that shouldn't have nuclear weapons, but it possesses nuclear weapons, and no one is problematizing that situation. Everybody is, attacking Iran, assuming that Iran is going to have a nuclear weapon, but Iran says that, no, we are not pursuing a nuclear weapon, but Israel already has nuclear weapons, and nobody is talking about that.
But those who are opposed to Iran's nuclear program are going to look for every excuse. Is there an excuse for those who want to bomb that nuclear program out of existence? Is there an excuse in terms of the cooperation that Iran has with the IAEA? Because the IAEA has sometimes said, look, we need access, but our inspectors aren't being allowed in.
Yes, great point. In the last couple of years, the cooperation between Iran and the agency had been shaken. But there was still partial cooperation going on. Iranian side was accusing the agency of being political against Iran, and the agency was accusing the Iranian side that Iran is not cooperating with us. Iran is not, declaring some nuclear facilities and not opening some facilities to our inspection. So there was this, disagreements, accusations to each other. However, there were still talks, inspections, and there was still partial cooperation. I think this engagement, this interaction between Iran and agency was heavily influenced by the tension between Iran and the United States. So Rafael Grossi made statements that Iran is not cooperating with us. And also, you heard that the last report of the agency was claiming that Iran is in breach with the, safeguards agreement.
That's right, for the first time in 20 years.
Yeah, for the first time in 20 years. Then Grossi said that we were not intending Iran is going to have a nuclear bomb. We were not, claiming that Iran was in a systematic, program to obtain a nuclear, bomb. So agencies' reports are also interpreted in the actual political context. So every side, interprets the report from its own perspective and use these reports or inspections as a pretext, like you said, maybe to use it as a political tool, leverage for themselves. So maybe Israel or the United States could use these all tools as a pretext to bomb Iran. I mean, the certain segments of the United States and, Israel. So you need to have a pretext to wage a war, a country. So George Bush needed a pretext, so he lied about the weapons of mass destruction. Now, this is a point of discussion if Iran is going to have a nuclear bomb or not. This is the kind of pretext that is being exploited by Trump so far, but everything is can be quickly changed on the ground. It depends on the discussions inside the United States that are still going on right now, because many parties in the United States, even from the Trump administration's own base, are against the war with Iran. So I think there are still serious conversations taking place inside the United States, and we're going to see.
That pretext issue is really important because it was literally a few hours after the IAEA said Iran is in breach of its commitments to us that Israel launched the first attacks. Mustafa, I know you're going to be here for a few hours, so we'll bring you in and out of the studio. I really appreciate your expertise.
Thank you very much.